Super off the bat, impressive looking visuals as the eye twitches and the rainwater pulls in the eye.
ここがどこだかわかりますか？
うるせえな。そんな大声で言わなくても。
I love this little mixing in of the real world as he's passing away to the other world and their language.
おいおい、なんだこいつ。
That's so awesome to see that they really did lean in on their language. That's so rare in isekai anime.
どうしたんだい？そんなに頬をあからめて。
Straight up beyond kawaii.
まさかそんな妄想めいたことが現実になるとはな。
I saw that. Don't think I didn't see that, bruh.
ルディどこにいるの？ルデス
Goodness me, it's still early doors, but they seem to be putting twice as many frames into each animation as usual. Like, that's gorgeously smooth thus far. This is not a drill! We are 4 minutes into episode 1 and there's already 2 kawaii wins? Are you having a laugh?
綺麗な風景だ。こんな写真見たことがある。
Sinuisha.
田舎すぎだよな。電気もガスもないって何時代よ。
Even though it can be difficult for us as readers, I always drop a win for realism during conversations, such as his running internal monologue alongside their active convo.
神なる力は芳醇なる糧。
おいおい、何の冗談だ。これがこの国の痛い痛いのとんでけかよ。
ヒーリング。
So 2 wins here. Firstly is for the more realistic approach to spellcasting, where it actually takes a little bit of time to get to the finished spell. I like that because it's different to other similar anime where they either immediately cast or say a couple words. Second win is for the extremely simple but equally pleasing visuals of the spell, where there's not a hint of CGI. Also though, going first person like it's an episode of JoJo or something.
剣と魔法の世界だ。
I really like visuals like that. That's super appealing with the floating shot and onto this weird Totodob's flying gerbil thing.
それにしても魔法か。
魔法吸気する単語じゃないか？早く自分でもやってみたいものだ。とはいえ、今の俺にできることは少ない。
Loads and loads of not walking on the spot.
それにしてもこの本は興味深い。魔術教本。になったのが個人の魔力量が生まれた時にはほぼ決まっていると書いてあること。
I'm always impressed by not only the other different language thing like at the start, but then also different written languages. Dedication!
ウォーターボール。
Just some plain old, straight up, awesome looking visuals right there. It just looks so good. I don't even know why. Even as a vegetarian, I gotta say this food be looking good. It's like food wars up in here or something.
魔力量が増えたのだって謎だ。あるいは鍛えた結果の話なのだろうか。頑張って鍛えても魔力総量には限界値があるという。幼児の時期に魔力を使うと飛躍的に最大値が増えるとか。
Expertly editing out the part of his folks audibly doing the nasty down the hall, I'm super impressed by the lengths the mangaka has gone to delve into magic in this story. It's the furthest thing from simplicity. It's almost being treated like an actual real-life science rather than a gimmick.
ようやく詠唱の仕組みが解明できた。この魔術は生成、サイズ設定、射出速度設定、発動のプロセスをたどっているのだ。
They can take another win here for proving my previous win was valid by going this in depth on this one very simple spell. I get the feeling I'm going to love this anime if the story continues on like this. Okay, so this is getting the maximum 2 wins award, firstly because it genuinely shocked me after showing how slowly he built up his use of the first simple spell, and secondly because it combined a rotating shot with absolutely stunning looking and smooth visuals, which just delight my heart. Loved that!
小さいんですね。あなたに言われたくありません。
Also, before I forget to mention it, the main character is Puck from ReZero, and that's a massive win. Love Puck. Also, I've covered both seasons of that anime if you're interested. Also, this girl is voiced by Chica from Love is War, and I love her voice too.
魔術は大きく分けると3種類しかありません。攻撃魔術、治癒魔術、召喚魔術。
Oh, bless your hearts, you keep on expanding the lore surrounding your magic system, and I'll be over here continuing to fall in love.
どうかしましたか？いえ。
One of the weirdest wins of the video has to go to this staff. That's so unique looking. It must be a pain to animate it since it's not a single entity. A massive credit to them for that. It's like something straight out of an RPG or something.
ウォーターボール。どうですか？
This anime just straight up looks awesome.
ヒーリング。
わあすげえ。
ありがとうございます。
I very much like this little budding friendship between them, nicely on display after his attempt to make her feel better. It's got that wholesome type of feel to it.
人並みに生きて人並みに努力してつまずいても立ち上がってなお前を向いて
Just some disgusting, beautiful music right there that scarily fits the scene and vibe of the anime in general. Ah, that's the good stuff. Credit to not actually putting the main character in a decent light right from the get-go, because some of the best protagonists aren't just plastic and perfect characters. They're wounded, they struggle, they're sometimes just straight up not good people to some degree. Jobless Reincarnation having a main character who seems to be in that vein is a very different animal to most isekai protagonists, and already the work is underway to pepper in instances that redeem him a little, such as attempting to warn the high schoolers of the truck barreling towards them. I mean, I'm not going to show it, but catching Roxy doing the deed outside his parents' room as they do the deed was indeed something to witness. It's adult, I like the change of pace, I'm an adult, why the heck not, you feel me?
しかし驚きです。この世界には精霊とか魔族なんてのもいるんですね。
ラプラス戦役という人族と魔族の大きな争いがありました。その争いの中で彼らスペルド族は敵味方。
Now that magic has been thoroughly set up during the first episode, it's great to me to see episode 2 now diving into races, continents, and a little bit of lore connecting all of them.
夜遅くまで起きているとスペルド族がやってきて食べてしまうぞと。
I understood that reference!
スペルド族に食べられますよ。
はい。
Are you freaking kidding me right now? Goodness me, I'm expecting a lot of scenery shot wins for this anime. That's so good! I'll avoid directly showing it, but we get another glimpse at a difficult past, this time from his high school years. It's tough to see and very well done.
私の故郷は草一本生えないような土地でしたので、この景色を見ると何とも言えない気持ちになります。
Non-opportunistic wind cliche, a win you'd know if you watch any Sins versions.
ここからずーっと北の方、あの山脈の向こうにラノアという国があります。
どんなところなんですか？
冬はとても寒くてものすごく雪が積もるんです。それはもうこんなに。
それはすごいですね。見てみたいです。僕はロキシー師匠がいればそれでいいです。
その呼び方はやめてください。
I adore nice subtle moments such as this in which to build your characters. It's so much more preferable than in-your-face exposition.
ルビー、5歳の誕生日おめでとう。ありがとうございます。
誕生日を祝ってもらえるなんて
As with pretty much any anime across the board, yours truly enjoys moments such as this, everyone gathering together to laugh and chat and enjoy a meal, and this one looks especially lovely due to the beautiful atmosphere created by the warmth of the candles. Calming and lovely music serenade this scene as his parents give him birthday gifts, before the scene turns melancholy as it's revealed that he seemingly has little left to learn from her. It's scenes such as this that I like. It's just effortlessly filled with charm and expertly moves the story and character progression forwards.
突然すごい力に目覚めたら突然美少女の居候ができたらきっと俺は頑張れるそんな夢は叶ってしまったけれど俺の足は動かない外にはあの絶望が待っている
Such a unique take on the genre or an anime in general to focus on the weakness of the main character and how they're not perfect and they're struggling to move past the trauma from the past. This is displayed really nicely by his reticence to leave the house to eventually attend a magical school.
なんで見てる見るなよ
この前はありがとうさ。
どうも。
みんなロキシーを見てるんだ。
どうしました？まだ怖いですか？
いえ、もう大丈夫です。こんにちは。こんにちは。
ロキシーはすごいな。
Heck, they can take a win here, both for the scenic view in the background, which is just nothing short of gorgeous all the time, but also for him overcoming his fear thus far in a very sweet scene. I swear this anime has a budget that must be comparable to certain movies. Either that or the team was just that dedicated or had so much time it's insane.
危ないところでした。このことは内緒でお願いしますね。
Not gonna lie, I was kind of devastated seeing the horse get struck by lightning. It almost ruined the entire scene for me, legitimately, but I had entirely forgotten about her healing ability, and so I'm now beyond happy that Mr. Horsenstein is okay. So take that win. Being nice to animals is always a win. From an artistic standpoint, that's just beautiful, even in its simplicity.
そうだ。
大切にします。
そうしてもらえると嬉しいです。
It is the height of ridiculous that this scene has me borderline emotional, and yet it's been just shy of 2 damn episodes. Like, is that even mathematically possible? Stunning music though, that probably helps on the whole emotional factor. Other than the admittedly jovial end with Roxy's panties being found in his room afterwards, that was simply a lovely end to the second episode, and so lovely was it that it unlocks its own win for the visuals and animation smoothness on display, mixed in with the sentiment of gratitude and respect between the two of them, alongside a lovely, heartwarming song. This is one of those EDs where you can only really describe it as being plain old great. It's got an amazing track and the visuals are just extremely basic, but at the same time obviously fantastic looking, and seeing Roxy at the end just got me hoping to see more of her later on. Might sound strange, but take a win here for the next up segment. That just smacked me in the face and reminded me of some of the outstanding music from Final Fantasy X from back in the olden days when I was but a wee lad. Is it just me, or is this kind of thing also pretty rare? I'm talking just a married couple having fun like a real world couple would? I like it, I do it myself with my wife, just playing around. It's nice to see it in anime form.
わかりました。では母様に引きを取らないような女性を探してきます。
Jobless Reincarnation is just utterly oozing charm over so many of its equally many facets. Makes it the opposite of a chore to write a win script for, in all honesty. So this fake OP is actually getting a maximum 2 wins award, and the reason is because, first of all, it's an amazing sounding track. I vibed with it immediately, but secondly, and most importantly, it was the awe-inspiring visuals of the varied locations he was visiting. It just made me, truth be told, quite emotional, because as I watched it, it just reminded me of why I love these kinds of anime so much and why I love RPGs. I just adore being taken out of my own world and being able to experience these other worlds in all their glorious nature. It made me very grateful to be alive, basically, and that's worth maximum wins.
3人寄ってたかっていじめなんてお前ら最低だ。あいつどっから水出してんだ。
This moment's right here building him as a protagonist and character, like I mentioned earlier on, giving him room to shine by not just being a saviour to some random lad in distress, but instead making him act because of his hatred for bullying, well built upon over the previous 2 episodes.
目つぶってて。服は家で洗濯しなよ。はい、オッケー。君ね、ああいうのはやり返さないとつけ上がるよ。
Oh, I really love stuff like this. Using magic to wash the mud from his hair and now an air spell to dry it. So inventive, so creative.
お父さんは半分だけエルフ。
お、やっぱり この世界にもいるのか。この顔なら将来は女の子にモテモテだろう。つるんでいればおこぼれがもらえるかもしれない。
And then this is a good example of the opposite to win number 59, where it's on display that he's not just being entirely altruistic and that there is a slight and funny ulterior motive to his actions, keeping us away from that plasticky pro-tag mold I talked about early on. How many stunning looking scenery shots are in this damn anime?
興味あるの？よし、どうせ暇だし特訓してみるか。
Ah, bless her heart, she must be protected.
わかりません。
お前染まる棒を殴ったそうじゃないか。
シルフをいじめてたクソガキか。
父様がどういう話を聞いたのかはわかりません。
違う、悪いことをしたらまずはごめんなさいだ。
実は歩いていたら声が聞こえて。
言い訳をするなルーディ。
安心してください父様。次からは3人がかりで無抵抗の相手1人をいじめているのを見ても無視します。そして大きくなったら家を出て二度とグレイラットとは名乗らないようにします。そんな家の人間だと名乗るのが恥ずかしいので。
すまない、父さんが悪かった。話してくれ。
That was absolutely brutal and astonishing. It's actually getting a maximum 2 wins because never did I ever think it would very sadly go down like that. I found myself utterly disgusted by Paul's actions against his son, and on the other hand extremely proud of how the lad handled the situation. It was a shame, it was sad, and most importantly once again, it's not how I thought it would go. Well played.
あれから何度か例のクソガキどもが懲りずにやってきたが、全て撃退した。
Learning that he's still defending himself against the bullies, meaning he's also advanced on that prior weak front from his old life, and that he's established a really strong bond with his new friend after 6 months, teaching her advanced magic. This win is also for showing so much of his childhood from various stages. It's always a shame when things like that are skipped, and here I feel like I'm along for the ride for pretty much all of it.
そうだな。
Another anime taking advantage of awesome looking shadow effects right here. Just really serves to beautify up the scene. Also, take another win here for actually going down a route in which another character has the same ability as the main character. Don't think I've literally ever witnessed that. The main character always has some power others do not.
彼は彼女だったのだ。
Well, that scene happened and I didn't expect it. Shocked win?
頼もしくも末恐ろしいよ、お前は。女ってのはな、男の強い部分も好きだが弱い部分も好きなんだ。考えてみろ。
These two scenes make me very happy that Paul faced his great prior mistake and has overcome it, becoming a much better father in the process and believing in his son. Unexpected character growth! Episode 3 can have a final win here for the end of the episode, covering their slightly awkward at the start but eventually sweet makeup. I guess I'm enjoying the fact that because he was a former shut-in, that he can actually have moments like these and build on them, rather than being essentially perfect due to being a former adult.
申し訳ありません。妊娠いたしました。
相手は誰？そんなことを聞ける空気ではなかった。全員が一瞬にして感づいた。
すまん。多分俺の子だ。
So believe it or not, this is actually getting 2 wins, and when I saw it, I had to go and make lunch for 10 minutes to organise my thoughts as such. So obviously this greatly shocked me, more so than you probably think. I never ever would have expected something like this to be raised in this one. I don't think I've ever seen it raised in an anime before, full stop. Jobless Reincarnation is dark, or at least handles darker themes, from the bullying to his father's cheating. On one hand, I'm utterly gutted that he did that, and on the other hand, I'm thrilled to be getting such an amazingly adult story to talk about. Take those wins, and I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. I'm not sure I've seen weather and atmosphere handled so nicely since Vinland Saga.
それでどうするつもり？奥様の出産をご助力した後、おいとまさせていただこうか。
Another one here while we're at it, for the impressive vibe given off of such a tense and uncomfortable moment between all of them as that beautiful music plays, really feeling like the story has taken a big turn.
子供はどうするの？故郷で育てようかと思います。
南へ馬で一月ほどだったわね。
母さん、さすがに。
あなたは黙っていなさい。
His mother's kind nature on full display here, and her raw anger towards him excellently done.
なんとかを言いふらされたくなかったらおとなしく股を開けって言っていました。
ルディ、何をバカな。
あなたは黙っていなさい。
パウロにはシルフィーの件で世話になったが、今回は自業自得だ。すまんね。その例はまた次回だ。
This moment in itself seems worth mentioning as a positive aspect of how this story was written, in that as a fully grown adult reincarnated as a kid, he's able to use his outward appearance to manipulate like this. Obviously not going to show it, but they display for us the maid seduction. Yep. Ding!
彼は命の恩人だ。この恩は一生をかけて返さなければ、この子をルーデウス様に仕えさせるのだ。
God, this story is going places I never expected it to. It's so adult. The closest vibe I can compare it to is like how I feel watching Berserk to a degree, that being the 1997 version. It's brilliant and kind of addictive.
挙句の果てにはリーリャの寝込みを襲い純血を散らし、その後道場を逃げ出したらしい。控えめに言ってパウロはクズだ。しかし俺は欠点だらけのこの男を認めている。
He is spot on here with his assessment of his father. I'm glad that was addressed in an open and honest way, and then followed up with a statement on respect for him. That's just very true to life. All of this recent business just links into my previous win on flawed characters as well, rather than him being the perfect father.
ルーデウスへいかがお過ごしでしょうか。早いものであなたと別れてから2年が経ちました。シーロン王国に滞在しています。第七王子の家庭教師として雇われました。
Ah, it's our first proper look at a place outside of the village, and it's awesome! Plus we get to hear about how his master is getting along, as a microwaved storyline is avoided by her mentioning the school from an earlier episode where he could further his learning of magic if he ever gets stuck, which he currently is.
くそ、ロキシーに落胆はされたくない。
ラノア魔法大学か。
How many other anime would put this much effort into the detail on the letter for one quick scene?
仕事？なぜだ？
父様に認められて家を出るまでにシルフィーの分の学費を僕が稼ぎます。
Another positive smearing of paint on the negative personality canvas that was his prior life before reincarnation, demonstrating that in this new world, his impact is far more positive than negative now, I'd wager.
主人来たー。
ギレーヌ。
Well, not much else to say other than hell yes, and oh my word, this is going to be difficult to edit around for the sake of YouTube. But I'll do my best, I promise. Kawaii! Now screw it, she's hot, innit? Unexpected father and son fight! Even though the battle is just over 40 seconds long, it's getting a max 2 wins. Firstly, due to the animation looking great, they didn't attempt to go overboard, it was instead very smooth and carefully drawn. No odd looking movement frames, if you know what I mean. Secondly, it's getting it because he smartly used 3 different types of magic to my eyes. A blast of fire to start off, a sinking spell into the ground as a trap, and then perhaps what looked to be a blast of water to propel himself away. That showed how far he's come, and it looks sick.
それはどうもよろしくお願いします。
Also though, I like this sudden turn of events, it's really awesome! I'm really impressed by 2 things. Firstly, how the story has suddenly changed. He's now away from home, it feels like we're away from home, having spent 4 long episodes there and in the surrounding area, so the pacing is godlike basically for an 11 episode first half season, and it's fantastic to now witness more of this world and its people. Secondly, I'm impressed at how after 5 episodes in, we've yet to see an OP. Now I do love me an OP, but when the animators skip them in order to cram in more screen time, I love that even more!
こうですか？
そうそう、悪くない。かけて。私はフィリップ・ボレアス・グレイラット。
Kujo Jotaro!
でもお嬢様は僕ができることができないわけです。
生意気よ。私を誰だと思ってるの？
Jobless Reincarnation yet again proving to me that it's not cut from the same cloth as other anime. It does things differently, it flows in its own direction, and I love it for it.
これで人に殴られる痛みが分かりました。
This is not how this is normally supposed to go!
どうやら僕たちは拉致監禁されてしまったようです。魔術が使えたら簡単に縄を焼き切ることができるのに。
I like that, this smart little plan of his, and my word, I really heard Puck loud and clear in his voice just now. I swear, just when I think this story cannot shock me anymore, they go and pull something totally unexpected on me. I was sat here fully understanding that this was his clever plan. How clever it was! Until, well, to put it lightly, he beat the snot out of the daughter and we see teeth and stuff. Like, clearly this wasn't the plan, and it was brutal, and I'm shocked. Well played, man. This anime is nuts!
どちらにせよ俺のやることは変わらない。おい、分かれぞ。
それでは。
Okay, so to be honest, I wanted to do a max 2 wins on the previous win, but it just wasn't close enough to warrant it for the shocking plot twist and equally shocking, horrible injury. But his use of magic here was amazing to see and looked fantastic as well. It gives us such a great understanding of what a powerful magic user can achieve through life's hardships, so now it gets that 2 wins award. It just tipped the scale, you feel me?
約束できるんですか？そうですか。じゃあここでお別れですね。さようなら。
さっきのは嘘よ。もう大声は出さないわ。
This feels like actual character progression to me. It often feels like either a character is microwaved to get them from point A to point B as quickly as possible, often coming across as unrealistic change, or that some relatively small event takes place that changes their life, such as a small statement or speech. So this feels like actually well-designed progression since it came from a fear of experiencing more violence, intimidation, or worse, from someone much stronger than her, forcing her to negotiate for the first time in her life. It was brilliant, basically, in my eyes. Plot twist! That was sick! Get out of it! My god, that was amazing! Extremely worthy of a maximum wins amount as we're gifted with a display of various magics during this battle, which by the by look outstanding, I must say. And there was a ferocity to the battle. It didn't feel like it took 12 minutes yet lasted 60 seconds. It felt like it lasted 1 minute yet took 30 seconds because of how much was packed into it. It was fast paced and brutal. It was amazing. Then well worth a separate win here for her interjection into the battle to take down the thrown sword in a colourful and gorgeous attack. Plus credit for bringing up the sword style during the battle which allows for throwing weapons. That's so clever. He threw a sword at them and the mangaka threw some lore at me. City scenery shot which looks incredibly detailed.
もし次に死んだら俺はどうなるのだろう。
An interesting prospect is brought up here about what would happen should he die again, and some clever growth of his personality, having dealt with things he's never had to deal with before, like the vivid sight of death.
特別にエリスって呼ぶことを許してあげるわ。特別なんだからね。
ここで働いてもいいってことですか？ありがとうございます、エリス様。
様はいらないわ。エリスでいい。
One more win for the end of the episode with him getting the job from the Sundale! A wholesome end after an incredibly dark and gritty episode. Nearly didn't hold it together then.
フィリップの奥さんか。ねえ。
はい、父上。
I tell you, considering the old man has done like 20 voice roles, he's got a fantastic, booming sounding voice that fits this aggressive dude to a damn T. Also, 50% of the win goes to the introduction of family politics, even to a minor degree so far.
そんな頼んでくださると言ってくれたのに。
serious!
お願いし
それが人に物を頼む態度か。
あんたが言うなよ。
Yet again, this bunch of mad lads and ladettes have decided to forego a classic OP and instead give us more content packed in tight, and I love them more and more for it. And I'm getting that song for my editing playlist. It's even more amazing and catchy after hearing it a few times now.
諭そうとしても逃げ出す。捕まえようとすると殴ってから逃げ出す。追いかければ戻ってきてもう一度殴ってから再度逃げ出す。
Goodness me, I love the notion that he said if he tries to catch her, she runs over, punches him, and then runs off again. God, I find that hilarious.
ところでギレーヌ、今までに算術ができなくて困ったことはありますか？
ああ、たくさんある。
I'll drop a win here, carefully avoiding scenes with his teacher on display too much, and say that their training is way more detailed than I thought it'd be. In an animation sense, and also just beforehand in the bit I can't show much of, it was a nice change of pace to learn about his mother and father's history with her as adventurers, just expanding that lore on their characters. Oh, I just swear, 25% of the budget must have gone on beautiful looking scenery and city shots! Also, impressively not walking on the spot! You think you can divulge too much information when it comes to an anime's lore? Ha! Think again! Tell me more!
エリスは僕が月にいくらもらっているか知っていますか？
金貨5枚くらい。
銀貨2枚です。
安すぎるわよ。ギレーヌは？
気持ちはありがたいのですが、そういうのは自分のお金を持てるようになってからにした方がいいですよ。
分かったわよ。
Even though I'm showing the end of the scene without context due to the bodyguard, I liked seeing the value of items being brought into the light, especially comparing it to modern day Japan. That helped a lot. On top of this, we see the young girl's gratitude and gradual change of personality. Super respectful pacing so far.
あれは交流王ペルギウスの空中要塞だ。
ペルギウス？
ペルギウスっていうのはね、魔人ラプラスを倒した三英雄の一人よ。
Oh, there's a super awesome looking floating fortress in the sky and its owner is one of the three heroes. That is so sick. It's like Skyrim or Oblivion or something.
何せ巷で噂の暴力娘と猛禽剣士。しかし二人の勉強の成果は着実に出ているようだ。
Such a weird end. Casually bringing forth some gorgeously smooth animation, extra frames for everyone. I think I'll go ahead and just drop a final win here for the extra content. It's clear that they're not doing an OP, and as stated, I friggin' love them for it. More content!
読めない。
重心語だね。興味があるのかい？
たまらないですよね。
わかるよルーデウス。僕は特に尻尾が好みでね。
Brilliant name for a new language, that being Beast God. Credit for making other languages a thing too, and it's especially great hearing JoJo talk about fluffy tails.
それでも勉強はやめません。
なんで？
なんでって言われると難しいですけど、うまくできないことほど一生懸命頑張ってできるようになった時の達成感もすごいから。僕も手伝いますから。ダンスの練習もう一度してみませんか？
Just as I'm often shocked by certain events that I've covered, I'm often wowed by sudden soft, especially calming scenes that slow the pace and delve into some emotional or personal aspects, such as right here. Nicely proving his point about trying harder at the things he initially fails at, such as dancing and trying to learn another language, more evidence of his better nature as a person in this new world.
ローブが着脱式で体型からほくろの位置まで同じでした。近日中に呪い殺されるかもしれません。不安です。
直筆か。すげえ。
I really find it hard to contain my praise for how well crafted things like this are. From the shape of the book with its unique handles to the layout of the text and images, all hand done. It's incredible levels of dedication.
俺もダンスはど素人だが、そこまで難しいものは求められていない。
踊れるようになる魔法を使います。
そんな魔術があるの？
魔術ではなく魔法です。
Big props for taking this scene so seriously from an animation standpoint. It would have been very easy to zoom in through most of it, but instead we get shots from around 9 different unique angles, plus extra ones up close. Really nicely edited and definitely well animated in terms of smoothness too. Rotating view like it's no big deal at all.
ルーデウス師匠、ありがたく頂戴いたします。
苦しゅうない。
I can't help it, I love that beast woman, but that aside, it's a good scene. I enjoy him getting respect like this and dishing it out when needed as well. It feels like things are moving forward beautifully. Who'd have thought that so many times they'd have poured so much effort into these training scenes?
前より大きくなってる気がする。ほんと何なんだろう、あれ。不思議だ。
First, smallest win of the video goes to the creativity to think about drainage in a main public street. Second smallest win of the video is for including distortions like this.
能登助はグレイラット4つの本家の一家で、現当主はパウロの弟である。
I mentioned briefly before about being excited by the prospect of politics being brought into the story, and here is why. Because it allows the mangaka to get creative with the story, and it also in general shows creativity, being able to write a script that branches out and includes other elements like characters, houses and countries and so on. In short, it's just an impressive thing to be able to do consistently. Other anime that nail this aspect is Attack on Titan and My Hero Academia.
それにしてもこの世界に来てもうすぐ10年か。
By the way, have a win here for it almost being his own 10th birthday now. I can hardly believe that it's been just 7 whole episodes, and yet we've been with him since birth. That's crazy to me because it hasn't felt rushed one iota.
ちょっと触ってみても？
ああ、もちろんだ。
I mean, it's definitely wrong, but is your boy here hating it? You're damn right I'm not! Going back to this later on, he's knocking on her behind like it's a solid oak door.
ごめんなさい。僕こんな初めてで。
戦争じゃ！ノトスんところと戦争じゃ！ピレモンをぶっ殺してルーデウスを当主に据えるぞ！父上、抑えて！愚か者！離せ！離せ！
今日はルーデウスがびっくりするものを用意したわ。
びっくりするものですか？
なんだと思う？
まさか父様たちがここへ？
そのね。
え、あれ、やべ。こんな空気にするつもりじゃ。
ルーデウス、あなたはもううちの子よ。
It's a ridiculous win, but his acting is amazing. Tearing up, wanting his parents there, and seeing how everyone is reacting is randomly amazing to me.
よし。いえ、エリスと結婚しなさい。
お母様！
I don't understand what's happening, but I love it!
あなたはもっと女を磨いて。何するの？話しなさい。あの子は私が救わなくては。
Oh, God.
名はアクアハーティア。
Yet another unique stuffer that!
エリスには兄と弟が一人ずついたんだ。だが生まれてすぐ王都に住む兄に取られた。私は跡目争いに負けてね。ボレアスの血を引く男は当主の家で育てられ、でもヒルダはそれに納得しなかった。お腹を痛め産んだ子を取り上げられるんだから。
My word, learning why Hilda hated him all of this time now makes perfect sense as we learn of the politics surrounding the rule of their household.
ごめんなさい。
今日は特別な日だから特別に許してあげる。
Like, I won't lie, the prior scene got talked about in Anime Sins. Check that version out eventually if you fancy it. But on here, I can at least say I appreciate him reflecting on his actions and apologising.
物が活発になっているのはこの村だけではないようだな。ピットは全域で似たようなことが起こっていると報告があった。
ルーデウスのやつ！
こんにちは。
getting our first sight of a darker area of this new world at long last. A literal dark forest and actual monsters. Our first monsters too. Gimme law!
こんにちはシルフィー。ほらノル挨拶は？
ノルこんにちは。
Seeing his home life for a change, the little unborn baby's now grown into young children in the house, and I especially liked the avoiding of exposition when updating us on how everyone is doing by weaving it into the conversation naturally.
なんでしょう。この方角はアスラ王国でしょうか。
Oh, that's really pretty looking! I mean, there's even a place lit up right atop a hill! My god, what an incredibly badass looking dude with an incredibly badass looking introduction scene to the story right here.
魔力が集まっていく。なんだ、どこで狂った。まあいい、言ってみればわかること。
Also though, overhaul from My Hero Academia.
あの魔力の発生源を調べろ。怪しい奴は見つけ次第殺せ。御意。
What the hell is with all the new characters all of a sudden? I said gimme law and now my head is quickly expanding! Also, this dude is gone down from Hunter x Hunter, along with loads of other awesome roles like the Deep Sea King from One Punch Man.
伏せろ！何？
It's all kicking off all of a sudden! Absolutely sick animation too, I can't take it!
あんた誰よ？
我は後期のアルマンフィ。ベルギウス様の命によりこの異変の発生源を断つため参上した。
Asagiri Gem from Dr. Stone.
ベルギウス？ルーデウス、お嬢様を連れて下がっていろ。
女、どけ。
Such a great end to the episode with that. Oh my word! Take 2 wins for the entire end to the episode with the sudden battle, introduction of new characters, expansion of the story, and cliffhanger ending. Thoroughly deserving.
浮かれた俺を見るのは楽しかったか？全く信用できないね。
This is so confusing and awesome, and the god is made up using some of the best CGI I've ever witnessed in an anime. What an ideal time to use it. Also though, I had a hard time finding his voice actor since it wasn't listed on my anime list, but a win here for this main dude being voiced by Escanor from Seven Deadly Sins, an amazingly badass character. That entire scene was brilliant. Nothing was forced into our faces, everything was kept as a riddle, no answers to life's big questions randomly given, it was a mystery and I freaking loved it, and now they set up the next part of the story which has me so excited you wouldn't even believe it, as he's transported and meets a new important character.
ハスコナヒワレギアンクアンク。
質問の意味はわからんが。
Bruh, they actually did the new language that he learned. Also though, this dude is Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter, and where I come from, that equals a win.
エリス、おはようございます。こちらは。
どうして来てくれないのよ。ごめんなさい、ルーデウス、ごめんなさい。突き飛ばしてごめんなさい。約束守れなくてごめんなさい。
Brilliant example right here of the level of fear that these people can evoke from others, because obviously we've been set up to see her as being incredibly headstrong for the most part, and yet she's immediately brought to tears as though her life is flashing before her eyes. I mean, she didn't even react in this way when actively brutally attacked by the kidnappers years ago.
話が通じればみんな友達になれるんですよ。
お母様ったら嘘ばっかり。早く寝ないとスペルト族に食べられちゃうなんて。
物おじしなくなっていくエリスが失礼なこと言っても、ルイジェルドはさらりと受け流している。
It's a small thing, but it's great to see him bridge the gap between the two of them, leading to them all becoming friends in a very natural way, especially when she realizes that the truth about these people is more complicated than the horror stories told to them as children.
またエリク、冒険が始まるのね。
こんなものはない方がいいと何度も思ったがな。
じゃあもらってあげてもいいわよ。ほじくり出して。
そうもいかんさ。
For probably the last time, not walking on the spot for quite a long period of time. Not only do we get a scenery shot, which I praise to high heaven, but then it's also of a completely different domain to usual, which is awesome. And then, as if that wasn't enough, we see how the houses are made of the giant animal shells from their land. So awesome!
ロキシロキシイントタクサギレイ
え
なるほど。
ごちそうさまでした。
It may not be a huge thing, but I love the dedication to making the insides look so differently from anything we've seen till this point, including their food and such. More dedication!
スペルド族が戦争で敵味方区別なく襲ったというのは本当のことなんですよね。
違う事実ではない。あれはラプラスの陰謀だ。
Unexpected art style change to drive home the scene and how important the truth is to him.
俺たちはいつからか敵味方関係なく周囲の者たちを襲い出すようになったのだ。誰もその変化に気づかなかった。やがて俺たちは目に見えるもの全てを殺すようになった。
A terrible tale of what is essentially genocide against these people by Laplace after the war had been won. The story being predictably peppered with darkness, as to be expected from this anime.
ご厚意感謝いたしますわ。ブレイク
星座
Fantastic character growth from a pacing perspective when it comes to her. Incredibly impressive.
この剣すごくいいわ。
Start of episode, awesomely detailed rotating shot. Oh, you hard workers, you. Take my win.
魔族魔族
I gotta tell you, I'm so appreciative of things like this, seeing how others live in such vastly different ways and different looking races. As a fan of games like The Elder Scrolls, I love it, and also it reminds me of Thebes in ancient Egypt, so as a history lover, it's doubly great. Screw a stupid red X on a wall or a bloody banana stapled to a picture frame selling for $1 million. This, to me, is actual art. This, and just about every other damn bird's eye shot since episode 1.
パーティーの名前は本当にデッドエンドでいいの？お願いします。
成功なのか。
ルイジェルドさんがデッドエンドと名乗っても誰も怖がらず笑いが起きたんですから。一歩前進です。
Okay, now my suspicions have been confirmed, I'm so happy to drop a win for his plan to reveal him as Dead End and see their reaction having now coloured his hair. Because I was admittedly confused at first, but figured it was to test the change, but wasn't sure, so that's good.
あんざなくせ。
触らないでよ。何すんのよ。
Goodness me! But nice to see her having changed so much now that she reacts in this way when her clothing gifted to her by him is broken. But man, she's nuts! For real!
わからねえのか神のくせに。
さてそんなことより次の助言だ。
はいはい手短にしてくれ。
Obviously we don't yet know what the deal is with this supposed god, but it's low-key pretty awesome to be guided by one in this way. Again, it's got me comparing it to video games I've played. A small but lovely detail is how his staff here is wrapped up, likely because it's insanely expensive and so they hide that. This very quick but excellently fought battle, highlighting not only their working well as a team, but also how well they're all getting along in general. At the same time, 50% of the win is for thinking outside of the box when designing this part of the story with the city. It could have been kept very simple, but instead we get to see the seedy side of life there, as people break the law to make a living, or just be criminals in general.
なんで殺した？
子供を傷つけたからだ。
殺しちゃダメだ。
なぜだ。悪人だぞ。
This part of the story and his character has got me feeling vibes of Terminator 2, where he's got what is essentially a killing machine and has to try and guide it/him properly. I mean, I don't mind it having happened, he was being mean to the captured animals, but still, credit for getting real very quick.
はすごいんだから。任せておけば全部うまくいくんだから。文句言うくらいなら帰りなさいよ。
Not even gonna attempt to lie, watching Eris pour her heart out in his defense was pretty damn heartwarming.
パウロだけはいっそのこと違う世界へでも転移してほしかったですわ。
パウロさんのお知り合いの方ですか？
Dwarves and elves, need I say more? These past few episodes are brilliant for opening up the world as we witness another new location. They really be pouring on the animation juice onto this final episode, even more so than usual. Animation juice, of course, being the all-natural ingredient to make things smoother. Oh, so much animation juice! So much, in fact, that it got the scene a maximum 2 wins. Edited so nicely as well, with those zooming running shots and fast-paced movements really pumping up the action. Amazing!
講座スイちゃいざいざらこ한지せい講座우슈 코이과 유할표 슈지
This moment that dealt with the cold, harsh reality of adventuring in a realistic isekai world, the only other ones that have gone this far has to be Goblin Slayer and ReZero, so props for that. What a glorious 60-second battle that was! Some art style changes in there mid-fight, smooth as butter animation, stylistic angles, my greenhead boy being an absolute legend, stopping it with one damn hand, and then the final shot looking great. Eris had some outstanding looking moments too, a swift and furious battle, and likely the final issuing out of 2 wins. For likely the final time of the video, look at that damn scenery shot. Truly impressive.
絶好さネイスクソとはうしゃくいとけないわいわんてわろ気配つあやばす
A badass and pretty effective way of dealing with the difficult situation that they found themselves in. Just thinking outside the box like it's an episode of JoJo where you can't see a way out and then boom, there it is.
依頼は効率のいい金稼ぎとか、あわよくばスペルト族の汚名返上とか。
いや、お前はやれるだけのことをやってくれていたのだろう。
From a stylish looking standpoint, this just looks outstanding right here.
お前は守ろうと必死なだけだったのだな。
ん?
Even though, at heart, he's a 40-year-old man, I think he loves having a relationship like this with someone, like the father figure he didn't have growing up and that Paul was unable to give him properly as well. It's also nice to see them finally being back on the same page, and her reaction just now as they looked at her was actually priceless too.
どうしたんですか、その頭。
今回のことで、人が俺の髪を恐れていることがよく分かったからな。
それなら額の目も隠せますね。
I got a lot of love for this character in a very short period of time, and for like the 3rd time, what an absolute badass. The end of the episode gets another win here, loads of travelling and adventuring going on, grabbing some new clothing and training together and so on, as they near their next objective and the second half is announced. Jobless Reincarnation is one of those rare anime where I truly enjoy writing the script. Don't get me wrong, the narration and editing will be painful, but your boy still does it all alone, and the video will be big, but still, I loved watching it and writing about it. They can have a final win here for the entire first half of the season. I truly enjoyed it so much, and I very much look forward to covering the second half soon, so be sure to subscribe if you're not already to not miss that. A like and a comment would also go a long way to helping me out, and feel free to pledge on Patreon if you fancy voting in what I cover. And of course, I'll see you in the second half or in whatever video you choose to watch next. Nathan Byrne, Bird Without a Word, Tyler Warner, Ali 50, Kawada Takashiro, Ted L, Israel Caldera, Mr. Waffle 64, Kieran Robinson, Chris Harris, Jonas Stahl, Manolo Saucedo Munoz, Steelers, Matthew Blanchett, Kim Munt, Manuel Morales, Conito, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Blitzcloud, Orekeeper, Kepper, Jeffer 6263, Magnus, Kevin Nelter, Brendan Krier, Kaj Vozelman, Sean Graves, The Epic Commander, Galaxy Fox 22, Leaf Arn Hammer, Sentimento, Gaten 2000, Storm 970, Inakami Underwater, Your Ed Vincent.